tried to go search. Oh, there's not a single legitimate target. Okay.
Fail the fight.
Oh, you go ahead and do it. You got this.
Alright, so the winner of our Narset Transcendant Giveaway Contest is...
Woo!
Hello, Magic players. Welcome to the Wake the Dead podcast, your weekly Magic the Gathering podcast brought to you by MTG Mind Games. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for weekly Magic-related content, news, deck techs, and pack openings. I'm your host, Scott, and with me tonight is my co-host, Evan. Evan, what's up, man?
What's going on?
So, today we're going to be talking about a couple different things to do with just valuing your cards, different types of ways to trade. What we feel is, or what I feel at least, is the way you should be trading. I mean, not everyone's going to want to trade this way, but we all originally got into this game to play and trade cards because it's a collectible card game, right? You trade and trading card game type deal. So, Evan, what do you think about trading in general?
Well, for me, trading. I mean, it's all about getting the cards that I need. Like, I know a lot of people trade just strictly based on value. That's actually pretty hard for me because I had gotten so used to before when it was just like, oh, I really like that card. I want that card. You want this card? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of hard for me. And then with the way my collection is now, like, it's kind of hard for me even to be able to trade on a local level.
Yeah.
Just because I have so much random stuff that's geared basically for EDH and older collectors.
Right.
That most people look at my binder and they're like, "Oh, you don't have standard stuff?" Meh. And then they just walk away, and I'm like, "Well, how was I supposed to get stuff?"
Yeah, exactly. Which it definitely leaves you in a a tight spot because then if you want to play standard, you can't even start to break into a format because you have to find that right person that might want your ensnaring bridge, or something random. We were talking about that earlier.
$700.
Yeah. So, which actually a lot of our friends are in that boat because we've all been playing for so long that if you do end up going to the local card shop, you end up finding that running into that problem. Everyone wants to play standard. No one wants to trade for older cards because you can't use the older cards. But one thing I always run into is that people will have a lot less value in their binder and want a whole lot more. Hey, do you have that Monastery Mentor? Can I trade for that? Here, look at my binder. And it hurts me because I see these things and I want to help people. I want to help them get the cards that they need. I don't honestly care for Monastery Mentor or even like standard in general. I'm more of a Tiny Leader player, and people have actually been saying that Tiny Leader is, I don't know if you've heard this, Evan, but Tiny Leader is just the Singleton Legacy. Like nowadays it's just Singleton Legacy. Because you can play you play 1v1 and super fast and all this stuff, and you're playing these really broken degenerate cards, and that's basically what Legacy is. So anyway, moving on, I want to talk a little bit about how valuing your cards is important and how to trade up. What I feel is a lot of players don't understand the process of like the pack to power process. I'm not sure if you're actually familiar with this, Evan, but the whole pack to power is basically taking the contents of a booster pack, being the pack part, and trading up over time and trading up and trading up and trading up until you get to enough value, very long down, very a far ways down the road to where that pack basically has gotten you to a piece of power. So, I always use that model in my mind whenever I'm trying to trade, and what I find is it's very hard to do at a local level. I mean, it's almost impossible to do at a local level. You have to be trading with tons of different people. But one of the key things to valuing your cards is doing something as simple as, I have a $5 and up binder, and then I have all of my cards that are $4 and less. I put them into a box, and, that way people can just look at the bulk $3 cards on their own. So whenever you have someone coming up to you trading, being like, hey, we need, we have a trade for a $15 card. Can I trade you for that $15 card? It's like, sure. Well, then look at my $3 box if you want your value, if you want to get a bunch of $3 cards, or you can look in the binder and try and find a single $15 card and we can swap. So there's a couple different options like that I really like, that I think a lot of other players should start trying to adapt to.
I think since I've gotten like really back into Magic, I think I've traded down at the shop I think once.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I mean that was a lot of fun for me because the guy I was trading with happened to be into 88 EDH and all the old stuff, and as soon as he opened my binder he was like, "Oh, you're not a standard player.
Right.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Pick out whatever you want from my box."
Nice.
I think I
Yeah.
ended up getting like 9 or 10 planeswalkers that all went straight into Damia.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's trading up. That's still something that I'm. That's not something that I'm looking to do right now. But I can see
Sure.
how it might actually be fun, just trying to trade your pack for a piece of power eventually.
Yeah, what it mostly stems from, actually, breaking it down, what it really stems from for me is for the longest time I've been trading for a long time. You guys, me and you and all of our friends, we stayed around the kitchen table for as long as we could. And for me, once everyone kind of started to move on and not really want to play Magic, I branched out and had to look for people that wanted to play Magic, and that basically led me down to careers. As I went down there, you start making friends and becoming buddies with people. And one thing I noticed after I had, 3, 4, 5 standard decks built, I didn't really care about these standard decks anymore. I had a quote unquote gauntlet built so where I could play all these different decks, and it got kind of boring to me. So I always had this thought or idea that, like, man, I want a Black Lotus or I want, a Mox or something like that would be awesome. And I never thought that maybe I'd want to have that much value in one piece of cardboard because they are really just cardboard.
Yeah.
Um, but when I thought about it and I started kind of trusting in the secondary market, trusting in the game as and its health and its vitality as being its own economic, type of machine, I started trusting more that the cards aren't just going to lose their value. Like dual lands, for instance, they were about 20, 30, $40 back then when I was, trading at that point. And then, they just skyrocketed because modern got built and now dual lands are like, in the 150. You could still get one for like a $50, $60 if it's beat up, but anyway, that's kind of a tangent basically. um, my whole point is that when you have all these decks built, you have all these rares and everything. Trade eventually you get to the point where you have enough decks, you don't need to trade for another deck to play. You're always talking about, I need more cards, so I'm going for lower value cards but a lot more of them, as opposed to trading those 10, 15, $10 cards into that $150 centerpiece of your collection, So um, it really it really started on that pack to power for me when I realized that I wasn't going to go anywhere in this in this this game. I got it tattooed on my arm. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty vested, and if Magic dies, it's still going to hold value with me. So I'm not just going to think, oh well, the secondary market tells me that Black Lotus is only worth $10 now. It's like, no, Black Lotus will never be worth $10 to me. So um, on that point, how do you feel about Magic apps and trading? Because I know when we first started, Magic apps, websites, what is this business? Like the internet all of a sudden is involved, like with pricing and things like that. Like that just didn't exist to us. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I remember doing some trading like at back in high school, and
Right.
for the most part, we were just like it was all just one for one trading. Just I like that card, you like this card, here let's trade cards.
Yeah.
And I remember every once in a while, somebody, sometimes it was me, sometimes it was other people, but somebody would show up with like one of the old school printed price guides and be like, "Nah,
Yeah.
hold up a second,
Yep.
because this card's worth $30 right now, and that's for 15 cents. You can't do that."
Nice. Yep.
Now, I mean, this it's kind of the same thing, except everybody has a price guide now. So I mean, it's kind of good in the sense that people aren't getting ripped off as much
Sure. Yeah.
as they used
Yeah.
to
Of
be.
course.
But at the same time, like if you are trying to trade up, it makes it kind of a lot harder to do because everybody knows what everything is worth.
Yeah.
So you're not able to like I mean you can finagle 15 cents here, a dollar there maybe,
Yeah.
but for the most part people are going to keep picking through your cards until they find something to match exactly value for value.
Yeah.
So I think the apps have kind of I don't know, they kind of help, they kind of hurt. It all depends on how you how you look at trading.
Yeah. I used to. Okay. So before these apps started really taking off in our local store, um, I would always have my phone with me, and I use an app called IMTG, which is essentially the iPhone's version of MTG Familiar. But I don't. Okay, so hold on before I get into this tangent because this is a big deal to me. Okay, so I initially used IMTG because it was the closest way for me to get a price while also going directly to TCG Player's website because on that app it runs a perfect running time thing of like a running tally on what the low, medium, and high price is
Mm.
based on TCG Player, which is generally what people look at. Like for a while, some people just when I first started going to the shop, people weren't even using TCG Mid. They were using Star City Games, which is the worst you could possibly do. Even if everyone's using Star City Games on the same level, you're talking about an inflated store level, which is just all bad. Um, TCG Player is competitive. That's where people are going to go buy their cards if they can't find them in the shop. So that said, it felt weird to just see a card be at like I don't even know. Like I think at the time let's just use Snapcaster Mage when it was at $25 as an example. $25 mid, $40 high, $12 low. No one wanted to trade a Snapcaster Mage for $12. People were
Yeah.
happy seeing it 25. But the thing is, you could still go get a Snapcaster for 12 at the time, and this was a while back. But there is something to be said about cell phones and how they've helped people from getting ripped off. Now, what I find is I had a system with IMTG where I would, if I saw a card for $25, I would look at what it was last week. If it was $10 last week, that means it's growing. That means it's going up. That means stock wise that card is in a high and it could keep going if an event's happening later and the person needs it for an event, maybe I might, knock off a few dollars or whatever. It would still hurt me as a trader, but I at least would be helping them get that card. Now, it'd be different if that card was at 25 and everyone, podcasters, other traders, everyone was speculating that card is set to be $40 because so and so made it crazy awesome and it's the next big thing like Jace the Mind Sculptor was. So you didn't let go of Jace the Mind Sculptor for $40 unless you really didn't care because you knew Jace the Mind Sculptor was going to 80, was going to 90, was going to 100. So, and that's where he eventually went. So, um, that said, these apps and things, they don't really tell you how to really trade and how to think about the value of your cards based on a whole world model. Um, I don't care whether or not you use MTG Familiar or IMTG because they both use TCG Player. That's all good and fine. But the thing that's bad about them is that they make people lazy. Um, I always see people putting cards into these lists and they're just putting cards in, and oh, okay, look, we made up the value. And I was like, but if you thought about what you're actually getting from me, you're not even from me or from anyone. When you trade with MTG Familiar and you use a list, what happens is you lose track of whether or not you actually want certain cards. So what I find a lot of the time is people will trade for, just stuff they probably don't even need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it all goes back to filling up that missing gap. Everybody
Yeah,
wants to get every ounce out of their cards. Whether if a card's worth $12, but you need it to finish your deck, it's worth more than $12 to you.
for sure.
But you're still everybody's still gonna want to fill up that little. Oh, well, there's that $3 right there.
Yeah,
Let me pull some more cards just to make up this little bit of difference that doesn't actually matter to me.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like it's made people lazy to the point where maybe that $3 is better left as, I don't know, whether it's, can you do $3 cash? Because I have people ask me that too. Can you do $3 cash? And if I do have cash at the time and I have the dollars on me or whatever to make up the difference, like, I'll do it. It depends on the scenario. But the thing is, I just feel like it makes players lazy, that they're not looking at what they're actually getting. Some people will just, well, what's that worth? I'm 50 cents short. I need to make up that 50 cents. It's like, really? You
Yeah.
had to make up the 50 cents? Like, I'm rounding down on this card and you're rounding up and you're using your app, and that's actually hurting me by a wide margin of dollars here. It's not really fair. I used to go in the process of, if a card was 22 cents on TCG Player mid, you know what that means is that everyone else has the card at 50 cents, but two, not two, but a large portion of stores are trying to be competitive and undercutting by certain pennies here and there until the mid price is about 13, 17 cents. So
Hmm.
what happens is it kills value. So I tend to round up to 15 cents or 50 cents, and if something is at 89 cents and over, then it goes to a dollar. You know what I mean? But when you start putting those things into this list on MTG Familiar, I mean, I'm not a store on TCG Player. I'm in front of you. I'm a person. This is my binder. I'm not, you know, I know I can always decline to do the trade because you're using that app, but it just feels weird. It feels like we're not really trading anymore. It feels like now you're shopping on TCG Player and I'm fronting the cards, So
Yeah.
it that's why I feel like it makes people lazy. It's a bad habit to use a cell phone or an app when you should just know the price of some of these cards. I know a lot of people don't trade that often, maybe it's not something you're used to. A cell phone is just to give you an idea of the price, not an exact to the penny, this is exactly what it is, and I need to make sure I get every penny, So that's my only problem I have with these apps and things like that. I know if I trade, if anyone's listening from the store and you hear me saying all this stuff, this is my personal thoughts. This is the way I feel about it. I trade on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, and I love to trade with people. And I feel that trading should be fair and both people walk away happy. And most of the time, I'm not going to lie, I'm not walking away happy when people use MTG Familiar to basically shop from me, because I never agreed that MTG Familiar was the app I wanted to use. You know what I'm saying? So I always just kind of comply and kind of accept it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe one day I might draw the line or something, but it's not this day, not today, and it's not this week. So it's fine.
We need to go
Anyway,
back to printed monthly price guides,
right.
print editions,
I want
no
my
price
scry
changes on
back,
a daily
man.
basis.
I want scry back. All right. So let's move on. I know that was a pretty touchy subject, and I'm not gonna lie, we might end up editing out a lot of that just to clean it up, make it a little more like listener friendly.
Yeah.
But next up, let's talk about our hypothesis for the Magic movie. This is completely, non-founded on like no basis whatsoever, but Hasbro owns, uh, Magic the Gathering, the brand. It's created by Wizards of the Coast, but at the same time, Hasbro, big money, isn't. I believe Hasbro's owned by Disney, aren't they?
I believe so, and I believe they've already announced that at some point they are going to do a Magic movie.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to me that this comes up right after we were talking about print price guides. 'Cause I don't know if you remember this, but there was a Magic the Motion Picture poster that came out with a price guide a long time ago. I'm actually looking at a copy on the internet right now,
Are you
and
really? That
I
is
forgot how
perfect.
hilarious it is.
That is perfect. I do actually. I do remember because I have an issue of Scry, and I have in the Scry magazine, it specifically says Magic movie, like who would be the best actors, because they used to do that back in the day. I can't remember what the magazine was. It was a really it's like Sinscape or something like that. It was a really popular movie magazine that would speculate on the best actors and actresses for, whatever movie to be made. So all right, so let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think the storyline should be about first before we get too far into this?
Well, I personally, I think you have to go with Brothers War. I think it's you got to go old school because it's gonna have they have the most interesting storylines back then. It's got to be Urza and Mishra.
Okay.
It's got to be that whole storyline.
Okay, so with Urza and Mishra, that's not necessarily Skyship, Weatherlight, Apocalypse, that era, right? That we're talking more the Urza Saga block.
Urza Saga block, yeah.
So with like,
The brothers war where they're actually like developing who they are and taking on these planets and their apprentices and like
okay,
legitimately building armies and fighting each other.
okay, yeah, I definitely think it needs to be based around war, obviously, because Magic the Gathering is about battling. Creatures are going to have to fight at some point, and there's going to be a lot of showdowns, you know. Um, I know that they have, you know, in the recent this recent sets and things like that, with the explosion of more and more players playing the game, they've moved away from it being about creatures fighting each other and things like that in like more fantasy D&D style. I know that the game was always about you're a planeswalker, you're casting spells, you do this, and that felt like more of the way of describing your role as a player in the game and what you're doing and how you should play the game and how you should feel about these cards that are in front of you. Um, but I feel like the storyline should definitely, take on that role of introducing us to um, some of the characters that should be the focal points. I mean, a lot of the time, movies fall short when they're not about a story and they don't tell a story. Um, but I feel like they could do a really good job with the Brothers War as well. I would love to see Multani in real life, especially now that we have the technology from Lord of the Rings to do like really good tree
Yeah.
ends. I mean, could you imagine seeing Multani Marrow Sorcerer just like coming out of a tree? Just I don't know, it just seems amazing to me. So, um, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Urza's block, and I mean, based on prices of the way cards are sought after from that block and how broken it was,
Pretty
I'm
much
sure
everybody.
everyone is. Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Now I do have some interesting. So I got a couple casting options here.
okay.
All right. I feel like for Urza, just I mean, if you look at like the picture from Urza's incubator,
Sure.
to me, it's got to be Liam Neeson.
Really? Okay.
Liam Neeson has to
With
play
long
Urza
hair?
to me. Yeah, with the long hair. Think
Okay.
like Liam Neeson from Star Wars, but with gray hair.
Okay, sure.
That's how I see it. The Mishra one though, that one took me a little while to find somebody that I liked because I don't know. He's got an interesting look. It's not a lot. It's not a very common look for
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
And then it just suddenly dawned on me, Jason Momoa,
Is okay, so that's basically the guy what did he recently play other
Khal
than Game of
Drago.
Thrones? No, other than Game
I
of
mean,
Thrones
he was
though.
in originally he was in Baywatch, so so there's that. What was that? Oh, he was. I don't. I'm. We are losing so much nerd credit right now because I cannot remember the name. Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was everybody. That was like his big role. He was on that show for like 4 or 5 seasons. That was his big thing.
You know what it is? That's what it was. Okay. Hold on. I'll edit this part real quick. Oh,
Also, Conan the Barbarian,
was it Conan? Okay. Okay.
the 2011 version.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, so he was cast recently for the Conan, right? Or he played Conan. But the thing that he was cast most recently for was he's gonna be Aquaman.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's gonna be Aquaman. So, I mean, I don't know how they're obviously they're gonna make him blonde and somehow make him lighter because he's got a thick old tan. So, yeah, he's super
Yeah.
tan.
I don't know about him as Aquaman, but
Yeah.
him as Mishra.
Yeah, I could see
That's
the
where I'm
Mishra
at.
perfectly. He's got the dark hair. He's got the like over brooding eyebrow type thing that Mishra had. So, yeah, that's perfect for Mishra. So our Mishra would be Jason Momoa, and then Urza was who?
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson? I think
There's
Liam
just
Neeson would have to thicken up a little bit, wouldn't you?
for Urza to play Urza.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
no. I think he'd be okay as Urza. The only
That'd be a very imposing Urza. Like seriously.
the only picture of Urza that I can find where I don't see Liam Neeson is the one from the Vanguard version of Urza.
Uh-huh.
But all I see when I look at that picture is Benicio del Toro. And I don't think I could watch an entire movie where Benicio del Toro
Yeah,
plays
no.
Urza.
No, no way. Not how he was in Snatch. Like
Yeah.
No way. Actually, okay, so yeah, yeah, I could totally see Jason Momoa as Mishra. Urza, yeah, I could see Liam Neeson. He definitely would need to grow his hair out and get that whole like gnarly goatee going on. So,
Yeah,
and then obviously we'd have Karn, right? So that would be cool. Be able to have Karn in there.
yeah. You don't really. I mean, at this point, you don't really need an actor for something like Karn.
It would be pretty awesome to have just. It'd probably be like Vin Diesel.
Well, do you remember? I don't know if you remember, like if you can picture the original poster that they came out with, but they were going to use Arnold Schwarzenegger as Karn back
Oh my
then.
God. Of course, because they just needed someone with muscles. So
Yeah, the cast from that one was kind of interesting. They had Arnold Schwarzenegger as Karn.
yeah.
They had Brad Pitt as Gerard, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Hannah.
Okay, so no, it does go over the crew of the Weatherlight, right?
That one did, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So then they had Jim Carrey playing Squee, which is just
I don't.
hilarious.
That's just
But
crazy.
then they have these two that they have three that aren't depicted in the picture, but they have Dolph Lundgren playing Krovax,
What? How's that even
Sean
possible?
yeah, Sean Connery as Urza, which I don't see Sean Connery as Urza. I'm sorry, I love Sean Connery, but I
Yeah,
can't do it.
no, no.
This part is my absolute favorite though. Tim Curry as Zhu Jin.
Yeah, I totally see that. I
Fantastic.
mean, they go off of legend, so yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Okay, so Dolph Lundgren could never be Krovax. I think
No.
that's got to be a joke
Well, I mean
because
the whole thing was a joke, but
sure, but Krovax is African American. I mean, Dolph Lundgren is the most whitest guy in the world.
yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just their whole casting was pretty funny, really.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely say we would need someone like Kimbo to be
Kimbo.
like seriously like you need a badass African American dude to be pulling up as Krovax, and I could totally see, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely not Dolph Lundgren.
Nope, Kimbo straight up. Yep, that's my choice.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's move on. I mean, when this movie comes out, I don't care if it's a flop. I don't care if it's garbage. I'm gonna go see it
Obviously.
because, dude, you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you like this? You know, you want to come to see this movie? Everyone who comes to see the movie within the first, X amount of days or whatever gets, a starter deck for, Magic 2017 or something like."
Promo
That's
cards.
what I'm saying. Like, I just want them to bring back starter decks. This is a complete tangent, but I want them to bring back starter decks. Like, I don't want to spend, $12 to get, three booster packs. I want to get, spend $12 to get three booster packs in a box that also has land that I can just shuffle up and we can battle. Because that's the
Yeah.
best. We
Oh,
used to
those
do
were
that.
so
That was
much
so
fun.
much fun. Yeah, that was so much fun.
Our
So,
shuffle up and deal night, so much
yep,
fun.
yep. You just go. It was so easy. You just go get one, and then bam, just shuffle it up. Let's play.
There's no construction, there's no draft time,
Yep,
nothing like that.
yep,
Literally just take some plastic off, pull the cards out,
yep.
shuffle it, and laugh because nobody knows anything that's in their deck.
Exactly, exactly. And then all of a sudden you just like you rip like this awesome Ernom Jin off the top of your library. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
rip that down. Like, yeah, yeah. It was so much fun, dude. So
But then there was always those times where you're like, oh, cool, I got a search card. Let me go search. Oh, there's not a single legitimate target for this. Okay,
failed to find,
failed to
failed to
find.
find. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they got rid of them. I obviously the reason why they got rid of them is because they replaced them with constructed decks.
Yeah.
But it's just I want the tournament packs so back so much because looking back, actually, I want to get my hands on a Tempest tournament pack and an Urza Saga tournament pack eventually here, so I can open them for the channel,
There are
and
so many of those.
those would be so sweet to open because that's when we used to play, and that was when we loved, getting those things. And I mean, those things are expensive now. I think the Tempest one's something like $50, and the Urza Saga
Oh.
one is like 100. So yeah,
Do you remember? Do you happen to remember that Christmas where all I got for Christmas was Magic cards?
yep, yep.
That was do you realize how much money? Like, if I had this stuff right now, do you realize how much money I'd be opening?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I think I got like they basically bought me the equivalent of a box worth of booster packs and a box worth of tournament packs.
yeah. And this was all before anyone realized it was probably cheaper to just buy a box.
Yeah, I literally had like it was like 16 packs of Tempest and 16 packs of Stronghold, and then some Exodus booster or some Exodus tournament boxes and some Tempest tournament boxes, and
Yeah, it's
that
just
was
crazy.
that was crazy. Yeah,
So much pack. It's like your collection went from like, oh, I'm still kind of, I have this awesome little tower of cards to like, bam, check out my sliver deck with Sliver Queen and everything. It's like,
no,
jeez.
do you remember though? Because my mom like lost one of the boxes, and then
Oh yeah,
it was
that's
like
right.
3 months later. She's like, "Hey, I found this box. It was the last of your Christmas present. I couldn't figure out where it went. Here you go."
Yep.
And it was like the last booster of Exodus that happened to be in the box was my Sliver Queen pack. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, nobody can touch my Sliver deck anymore."
You mean Stronghold, right?
Stronghold, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about some Modern Masters 2015. So, um, obviously the big news is that we got a news card spoiled. You know, the spoils. The spoilers for Modern Masters haven't really been coming in, at a blistering pace. We've got 5 cards. Woo! So, uh, obviously we've got Emrakul, we got Etch Champion, Tarmogoyf, Karn Liberated, and the new card Vendilion Click has been spoiled with new art. Um, a lot of people are not too impressed. I mean, obviously everyone's happy. It's going to be value for the packs. But if you're not playing Vendilion Click, you really don't care about this card because it's really just there for the control players and I guess maybe the fairy players. So um, it is sitting happily at $70 on TCG Player Mid. Uh, you can get it for as low as 57, but still, I mean, you're talking about paying cash $57 for a Vanillion
Uh,
Click. Most tournament decks are only going to run 2 or 3 of them, 1 to 2 in the main board and 1 in the side at the most, and that's like the modern, you know, red, white, blue control, or just even just red, blue control, like Kiki Jiki twin type decks. But for the most part, that's it. And that's where everyone's getting this high value on this card from. So, how do you feel about Modern Masters in general as far as a set for it's kind of like a bottleneck release, right? When you see these runaway cards on the secondary market and it's basically now Wizards' way of printing money,
yeah,
right?
it's their way of not only printing money, but like making sure that we all know they still somewhat control the price if they want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if they wanted to, they could just print Vendilion Click in every set from now until the end of time,
Right.
and that card would end up being worth 10 cents if that's how they feel it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me. Is that they're just trying to remind us that we don't control everything about
Yeah.
this. They have all the control,
Yeah.
which is kind of, I mean, I don't know if that's how they actually mean it, but that's how it feels to me. And
That's how
that's
it comes across to you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I I'm happy about this. It's just that I was one of the people that got Modern Masters when it first came out, and when I opened my box, the only thing that I got was a bunch of dragons, a single Vendilion Click, and a sword.
yeah,
So, I mean, it obviously the card I was looking for at the time, just like everyone else, was a Tarmogoyf, and you get that Tarmogoyf feeling, the Tarmogoyf fever if you get one, where you get one, now you need 3 more, just so that you can run Tarmogoyf in your modern deck. And it might not be the greatest thing in the world because they're probably just going to kill it to a Doomblade because it dies to removal.
yeah,
But one thing I thought of when I got the box was I felt like I didn't get enough value out of it, which I didn't. The box and everything, all the contents, even with the uncommons and everything, totaled less than what I paid for it. So I'm not too excited about this Modern Masters set. I mean, they're going to have to come out with a lot more in order for me to be excited about it. Obviously, I want to get my hands on it so I can open it for the channel because I know everyone else is going to want to see
yeah.
it. But the thing is, I'm not too excited about it. I am excited about Karn. it's great that they put a relevant planeswalker that has seen a kind of like a runaway price tag on him recently. I feel like this one's going to have a lot more relevant cards for Modern in it, as opposed to the first one. I don't know why, but they thought that the dragons were going to be relevant. So, I mean, Kokosho was the only one that was relevant, and he's banned in most things and doesn't even see play in Modern. So, it's just, um, I don't think people are going to be happy though if they start seeing a bunch of reprints from the first Modern Masters in this, because a lot of people did get Modern Masters, and I feel like maybe some of these, like Vendilion Clique and Tarmogoyf, if we end up seeing Bob or Dark Confidant, I feel like people are going to be kind of mad, because that's three mythic slots that, or sure, that card does have a runaway price tag, but I feel like they just need to print those three cards in a commander set, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, just give them unlimited printings and guaranteed one in a commander deck, and I guarantee you that commander set that year is just like the biggest increase in all of your, in all of your sales for modern and for commander. That's one thing I think that they're messing up with this set, is that Vendilion Clique and Tarmogoyf are sitting at mythic instead of rare. They should be rare, because it's going to be rare if you even get a chance to get your hands on this set. So that gives them like double rare. It's like extra rare if you open a Tarmogoyf, because not a lot of people are going to get them. So
Yeah, and especially if they're re-releasing these cards with the intention of kind of curbing the market and putting a price lock kind of on these
yeah,
cards, like by making them mythic. I mean, there's what, like 15 mythic slots in the set or something like that.
yeah,
By you have these cards and nobody's ever going to get them, and the price might go down $1.
right,
Like it's not gonna drop a significant amount. You put them in a rare, you're gonna see a lot more of them. Still, I mean, it's still not anything to really control the price. Like you said, putting them in a commander set is the best way to do it from both a business standpoint and a market standpoint.
right,
Because everybody that wants 4 Vendilion clicks is now going to just go spend $80, buy 4 commander sets, and get their playset,
yeah,
and then the price is going to drop down to. Honestly, I mean, if they printed in a commander, that price would drop so fast it wouldn't even be funny. But
yeah,
like it would drop. I would guess probably all the way down to $25
yeah.
at the very most.
Which is why they would have to print them in maybe a commander set that's like Ultra Commander, or a Commander like
A
limited
little bit
edition.
more of a limited
Yeah, a
release, yeah.
limited edition commander set where it's not limited print run, it's still a limited print run based on how many people want them, but these ones are now sold at $45 a piece instead of the 20, 35 or $30. So um, one thing I wanted to point out though is, like you were saying, with them being at Mythic, it is super rare that people are going to open these, and yeah, the price will maybe change about $1. One thing I wanted to point out was that Tarmogoyf at the time, when it was originally printed, and we hadn't gotten the Modern Masters printing, it was at like 140, and people were like, "Man, that's so high. It's never going to go higher." And then they printed Modern Masters, and the original went to like 145, 150, and the Tarmogoyf that was printed in Modern Masters was like 120 or something. And then it started growing again, and it started growing and growing and growing, because now more people wanted them, because more people opened new Tarmogoyfs. So then Modern exploded, and now Tarmogoyf is sitting pretty at $191. So it never even began to stem the price on Tarmogoyf. It never even began to make a hiccup. This printing at Mythic right here, even if this set is more accessible to everyone, and it's still more, if it's still more accessible and printed more than Modern Masters originally was, what I do notice is that these packs are going to be $10 a piece, as opposed to the first Modern Masters was $6.99, and stores were selling them for 12. So you kind of divulge a little bit that these packs are probably still going to be around $12 to $14 a piece at your LGS, because that's just what they have to put them on the shelves at. Otherwise, they'll fly off the shelves and everyone will buy them all out, and they won't have any for any drafting or anything like that. Um, it's a problem, and I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it this time. I think that part of this slow rolling the spoilers for Modern Masters has something to do with not wanting to create a huge hype. So that's just, I don't know. That could be the way it is. We've only gotten we've only gotten 5 spoilers so far, and it's like less than a month until the set comes out.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. We're gonna get like 15 cards a day, and people are gonna be so hyped. Like it's not gonna do anything to drive down the hype. So it's all, like we said before, it's kind of a disservice to some of the players that are going to GP Vegas. They should have seen more cards by this point. So
Yeah. And of these 5 cards, like I'm one of the people that's very disappointed in these 5 spoiled cards so far.
yeah,
Personally, I I know I might catch a lot of flack for this. I don't think Tarmogoyf is worth it.
it's not.
Like
It's
I
not.
don't understand why he costs that much. I get that he can be, powerful for 2 mana, well blah 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 whatever. He still dies to basically everything. Etch Champion is cool if you're running artifacts, but still it's at the end of the day it's just a 2/2 with protection from all colors. If assuming you control 3 more artifacts.
Yeah.
Emrakul doesn't matter at all to me because we banned him in our EDH, and that's the only place I would ever play him anyways.
Exactly.
And Vidillion Click, you would think that I would be totally in love with that card as a blue player, but it's not anything that I'm excited about. Literally the only card that I want so far is Karn.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm interested in.
That's
And
exactly how I feel.
I only want 1 copy. I only want it for Damia, and I only want it because I'm trying to get every Planeswalker I possibly can into Damia.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel exactly the same way, and it's just, man, you have high hopes for some of these sets, and it's just, I don't know how to feel about this yet. I'm sure that they're gonna print something in there that's gonna be like, oh my god, okay, I rescind everything I said. You've done it again, Wizards, But it's just, at this point, I don't feel that way, and that's not good that I don't feel that way. That means tons of players must be feeling super underwhelmed by the spoilers so far.
We definitely can't be the only 2.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that we've seen 4 of the 11 mythics so far, and 3 of them are meh, like
yeah,
that's really frustrating to me.
Yep. And it's sad when you're feeling that Tarmogoyf is meh.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's just not exciting.
Truth.
It's just like it's not a sexy card. It's we're printing this because we think it costs too much money, and the price is going to drop a little bit, and then people that have been trying to get their play sets are going to get their play sets, and nobody's going to be trading Tarmogoyfs again, and the price is going to jump back up probably over $200.
Yep.
Like that's just how it's going to go. Unless you print it in a less limited release, that price is never going down. Yeah. It's only going to go up. It'll drop briefly and then go back up higher than it was before.
Right. That's why they needed Tarmogoyf to be rare in this set. If Tarmogoyf was rare in this set, people would be losing their minds. Like, people would be freaking out. And then on top of that, in the secondary market, people would be selling their Tarmogoyfs off, and the price would come down. And that's what they need. What needs to happen. But I mean, it's okay. We'll see where it goes. Let's move on. One thing I did want to talk about that's not really on our list to do, basically, is that From the Vault Angels will be coming out pretty soon.
I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's not gonna come out until after Origins, which we also can talk a little bit about Origins, but there's not really any new news with Origins. From the Vault Angels, though, has a lot to do with my pick of the week. So we're going to move into the pick of the week, and we'll also kind of stem off and talk a little bit about From the Vault Angels. So first, Evan, I don't know if you want to lead off with your pick of the week.
My pick of the week is actually pretty interesting, especially for anybody that really knows me and has played Magic with me for a long time.
Sure.
My pick of the week is Savage Beating, which is just... It's probably going to confuse anybody we know that listens because it's red, and everybody knows that I don't play red. Every time I build a red deck, it doesn't work, and I've never been able to figure it out. I think there's been literally 1 deck I've ever built that was red that worked, and it happened to be based around Savage Beating. And then the other day I was going through my cards, and I saw Savage Beating, and it was sitting there, and then I was like, maybe I should make a red deck again. But, with us only playing EDH, it's just I had to find a way to make it work, and that I think is going to evolve into one of the most fun to play red decks that I'm going to have, or one of the most fun to play EDH decks that I have here.
So this
Savage,
is an EDH deck then.
it is. It's part of EDH. Savage Beating though, the reason it's my pick of the week is because it gives you the ability, even in EDH, it gives you the chance for a one-turn kill. Like
Right.
if you time it right and you play it right and nobody's expecting it, you're like, oh, by the way, I tap for 7, I play Savage Beating, all my creatures get double strike, and I'm going to take a second combat phase. Now everybody's like, now whoever you're attacking is instantly goes from, oh, this isn't too bad to, wait, what are you doing now? Hold on, how many dragons do you have out again? Do I have a fog? Okay, I'm dead.
Nice. Yeah.
That's why Savage Beating is my card of the week.
So first off, can you read Savage Beating for us? Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah,
All right.
it costs 3 and 2 red. It's an
Okay.
instant. It says play Savage Beating only during your turn and only during combat.
Okay.
Choose one. Creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn, or untap all creatures you control, and after this there's an additional combat phase. And then it has Entwine for 1 and a red.
Okay.
So you pay 5 mana, you can either give your creatures double strike, or take in a second combat phase after untapping all your creatures, or you pay 7, and all your creatures get double strike, and you get a second combat phase.
Wow. Yeah. So it's good lord, that's a lot of double strike.
It's a lot of double strike, and
Double striking double strike.
I don't think you were really playing with us when I originally built my Savage Beating deck.
No.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what the name of the card was. I think it was called Spellbinder. Yeah,
Okay.
it was an equipment from the same set. It cost 3, and it had imp. When it comes into play, you remove an instant card in your hand from the game, imprinted on Spellbinder.
Nice.
Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may copy the imprinted instant card and play the copy without paying its mana cost. So what I did was I put
Oh man.
Spellbinder with a Savage Beating on a Ferropede, which is a 1/1 unblockable,
Oh my god.
and took infinite combat phases.
Wow.
Nobody liked it. Everybody hated it. Literally the only red deck I've ever built that worked, and nobody wanted to play against it so much that they stopped playing against me if I pulled it out. So I tore it down, of course.
Wow. Oh my god. Yeah, that was during Darksteel. I didn't actually
Yeah,
play a lot of Darksteel. Otherwise, I'd probably have like a lot of the cards from Darksteel. There's a lot of good uncommons from Darksteel.
yeah.
So,
And I have a couple Savage Beatings, and I don't know where any of my Ferropedes or any of my Spellbinders went. I don't know. Maybe Duma still has them, but
yeah, maybe.
now I need to talk to him because I need a Spellbinder for this deck.
That's crazy. Oh my god. So yeah, so you're building a mono red EDH deck, which is
Yeah,
totally not like you. I
it
mean,
is not.
and it doesn't sound like it's a mono red type EDH deck that, I mean, okay, so that aside, mono red EDH is probably the hardest deck to build because there's not a lot of good cards for mono red to play. I mean, there are a lot of good cards, but it's just really hard to find cards that fit well together. And as far as like a general and things like that, it's really hard to find really good, solid, you know, like broken. It's just too fair, right?
Yeah, so technically my deck has 5 possible generals in it.
Yeah, yeah,
There's only really one that I'm going to play, but the backup generals, I put Bosch in there just
sure.
because there's a lot of artifacts in this deck, and every once in a while you want to be able to throw them. If I'm playing against somebody who's you know running Pillow Fort or something and I can't attack,
Yeah, yeah,
I want to be able to chuck stuff at people. And then just for just for grins, really, I put Chandler and Joven in
yeah.
because
Nice.
just because they're funny. And
Yeah.
then the only two like Bosch might see play every once in a while. Fumiko the Lowblood is one
Oh
of
yeah.
the other generals I put in because she's pretty awesome.
Okay.
But the main general for the deck is kind of the same line as Savage Beating. I'm using Godo Bandit Warlord
Nice. Solid.
because I want more attack phases.
Exactly. That's insane. So you're just trying to beat an attack phase deck basically, right?
Yeah, basically. And then on top of that, with Godo, I don't know how I never realized when he comes into play, you search your library for an equipment and put that card into play
Yep.
as your commander.
Yeah.
So every time you kill him, I'm getting another equipment.
Yeah.
Like that's just happening. There's nothing you can do about that unless you happen to have a stifle or something.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do about that, and he's just going to get worse. And somehow, what this evolved into is Godo. It's Godotron. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
Yeah.
It's basically turning into Godotron. That's all it is.
So when you play Godo, you get your Spellweaver, and then do you have a way to get Savage Beating?
I don't have a way to get Savage Beating yet. I do. I mean, I'm gonna. That's kind of where the stopping point. I mean, Godo is gonna give me extra attack phases anyways. Most of the time, it's just gonna be with Godo because I don't have a billion samurai in here.
Okay.
But I'm trying to find as much stuff as I can to give creatures vigilance. So like one of the cards that I put in is actually I stole it from my Tamanoa breakdown. Angel's Trumpet. I don't know if you remember that card. I'm trying to
Sure.
find it
Yeah.
in my deck somewhere. I know it's one of those cards that like you would know because you've played against me
Yeah.
with Tamanoa so many times, but like nobody else
Yeah,
is
no
gonna
one
know
else
what it
is
is.
familiar with that kind of thing. Angel's Trumpet is from Urza's Legacy. It's a 3 mana cost artifact. It reads attacking does not cause creatures to tap, which essentially is all creatures gain vigilance. Um, at the end of each player's turn, tap all untapped creatures that he or she controls that did not attack this turn. Angel's Trumpet deals 1 damage to that player for each creature tapped this way. So
So
if you
it's not forcing them to attack, but if you don't, you're taking a ton of damage.
exactly,
And my creatures are all going to be attacking every
yeah,
turn because that's what the deck is designed to do. So it's basically my deck is basically just Godo, a bunch of equipment, and a bunch of big creatures. Like just I mean classics too, like Shivan Dragon and stuff. Like
nice.
it's all mono red dragons and crazy things. Just huge, big, beefy creatures that are hard to kill and fly, and there's nothing you can do about them. And they're going to attack you 3 times, and you're not going to be happy about it.
That's cool. That's cool. That's definitely a card that I don't. I've never even seen this card before. Savage Beating.
Savage
Interesting.
beating, man. The only card I know for a fact I need to get for this is a Chroma's Memorial because
Sure. Yeah.
there's not ways to give vigilance in mono red.
Yeah.
There just isn't. There's a few there are a few equipment that do it, but for the like outside of those equipments and the one red enchantment that gives vigilance, there's Angel's Trumpet and a Chroma's Memorial.
That's crazy.
That's it.
Wow. Dude, this card's expensive too.
Which one
Well, okay. Savage Beating's $5. Like
is it?
what? Like is this
People
right?
people at that when I was running that deck, people basically gave me the Savage Beating to build the deck. Like 7 mana to do that. Why would I? How would I? When would I ever have 7 mana sitting around in mono red? And I was like, well,
Yeah.
if you're smart, you don't need to have 7 mana
Yeah.
sitting around.
Yeah, no, it says I mean, okay, so just following TCG mid, TCG mid's $5. A high of like $9, a low of like 3 or 4. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. See, like I said, people. Let's see. When did Darksteel even come out? I don't know.
Um,
But if you look, I'll just look on MTG stocks.
yeah.
Savage Beating back in September of 2012 was 70 cents.
Exactly. Yeah, it was.
Like that's where it was when I built that deck. Like it was like 65 cents, and people were just like, just what am I gonna do with these? Just take them. It was the same thing with Leveler. People like, if you're gonna build a deck with this, just take them because I don't want them in my collection anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, at the time people were also playing some crazy stuff too. So,
Yeah,
it was Dark Steel. Everyone was playing Affinity back then, so
boring.
yeah. Yeah, no one cared about Savage Beating. Plus EDH didn't exist, so I mean, I guarantee you the price for this card is because of EDH, the reason why
Yeah,
it's seeing that price tag. So, which is cool. Like the picture is cool, like everything about it's cool. So, it's
I love
definitely
that
a
card.
definitely a nice old card. All right, so I'm gonna go into my pick of the week, which does have to do a lot with my spec on the Magic the Gathering from the Vault Angels. Uh, from the Vault Angels doesn't release until August 21st. Um, obviously, MSRP is 35, and that's pretty much we all know that from the spoiler. Um, And it's been told to us that Twilight Shepherd is the card that's the spoiled art so far. So they did let us know that, or maybe that was speculated. I can't exactly remember where I heard that from, that it was Twilight Shepherd specifically. Maybe Maro said that on Twitter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, my spec for, or I guess my pick of the week is. Did I close it? Did I really close it? Yeah, I closed it. All right, so my pick of the week is Limvala, Keeper of Silence. Um,
Oh,
I mean, like Limvala saw a pretty high price tag when Pod was around in Modern. People just because active. Let me just read Limvala real quick here. Limvala, Keeper of Silence, 2 colorless mana, 2 white, legendary creature, angel, flying. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated, and it's a 3/4. So in Modern, when Pod saw its heyday, this card was the shit. This card was
yeah.
awesome. People wanted to stop Pod, and this was, activated abilities being stopped, and it was a 3/4, so you couldn't lightning bolt it. It was really good formidable blocker, and it was only 4 mana cost Angel, and the Angel looks amazing. Um,
Yeah.
the artwork is awesome on this card. It's from Rise of Eldrazi, which was a big set that was kind of didn't see a whole lot of play. I mean, at the time, I don't think the game was as popular as people know it to be now. Um, it's another reason why you have runaway value on cards like Jace the Mind Sculptor and Stoneforge Mystic is just because people weren't playing as much during those sets. So I think Limvala will get reprinted in From the Vault Angels. I don't see her not getting reprinted, and I feel like people are kind of anticipating that too, because if you look on MTG stocks, she was originally, okay, so back in 2012, she was like 10, 12, $15. Then RTR came out and she started climbing. Theros, she saw $28 and climbed, and then Modern hit where Pod just became really popular during I think it was Born of the Gods or Journey into Nyx, and she saw a $40 price tag. She climbed during cons to 48, and now she's on her decline because during cons and during Fate was the time period that From the Vault Angels was spoiled. Was told
Mm-hmm.
everyone told was told about the wow, I'm just botching that. Everyone was told about the From the Vault Angels release. So um, she's gone down to $37 mid now, and I feel like when From the Vault Angels does reprint her, she's gonna end up being foil. She's gonna be end up being possibly the same art. I'm hoping for the same art because that art is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, but foil versions of her are definitely going to be the reasons why people are able to go and get From the Vault Angels. A lot of people are talking about Iona being in there, Acroma, all these different things. While some of those angels might be, in there, I think we're also going to get some things like Lightning Angel and some cards like what was one of those angels used to play back in the day that could get protection from from whatever color when you enter the battlefield.
Voice of all.
Voice of all.
You
Yeah.
pick
Okay.
a color when it enters the battlefield.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Yeah.
speculating that Voice of All is going to be in From the Vault Angels also, which would be a fan favorite, I think, because
Ah,
that's just
I'd be super happy.
that's one of those great angels to play in EDH, and having a foil one, oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So so definitely Limvala is my spec for this week, just because if you can, and it's not so much that you want to pick her up, is that if you have Limvalas, get rid of her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not going to get any higher than what she was at 48. And if you didn't get rid of her at like 48 or $49, what she was at, she's at 37 now. She's never going to go back up.
There's also some speculation that she's. I don't. I mean, they might put her in both, but there's some speculation that she's going to see a reprint in Modern Masters too.
That's true. Exactly. Yeah. At $37,
That wouldn't surprise me at all. And if,
yeah.
based on the fact that they've already shown us 4 of the 15 mythics, I would guess that she would be reprinted as a rare.
Yeah. Well, she might
I
be
don't.
mythic. I mean,
She might be, but what was the other thing? People were talking about. I mean, there's speculation that the whole Elish Norn and the other four traders
Oh, the
uh,
Praetor cycle?
are gonna take five. They're gonna take five slots of the mythics that are left, and
Yeah.
I think Batterskull was one of the other ones. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that people are already like, oh, it's gonna be coming back. Elspeth, Tyrell, Mox Opal. Like, there's so many. There's so many. I mean, it's all speculation at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if she was reprinted as a rare instead of a mythic in Modern Masters.
Sure. I mean, there's all kinds of cards that are relevant to modern that people are wanting in Modern Masters. We're not going to see Snapcaster Mage, Liliana the Veil, um, any of those cards be printed in the Modern Masters stuff. So that's definitely leaves tons of room for stuff like Limvala to be printed in Modern Masters 2015. So I mean, we can only hope that she is a rare and that she also gets printed in the From the Vault Angels as a foil, which would be amazing because then tons of people could possibly get her.
I wouldn't be surprised to see her printed in both of them,
Yeah, yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised to see her printed in From the Vault in super awesome foil gloriness
yeah,
with this picture.
yeah, yeah. All right, we have some big news to announce. We have the winner of our Narset Transcendant Giveaway Contest. The MTG Mind Games YouTube channel has reached over 100 subscribers, and I can't say thank you guys enough. I mean, this is awesome. Like, I started this, about a month ago. Evan's been, doing the podcast with me, and everything's been great. Everyone's been really positive. I think we've only gotten 2 dislikes. Like, what? So, um, not saying go out and dislike anything, but so we have the winner to announce. Evan, do you want to announce them or?
Oh, you go ahead and do it.
Okay.
You got this.
All right. So the winner of our Narset Transcendent Giveaway Contest is Bad Wolf MTG.
Woo!
Woo! So Bad Wolf MTG, believe her name is Nicole. Nicole has until, let's see, has until April 29th to email us at mtgmindgames@gmail.com to retrieve your Narset Transcendent and her emblem. We appreciate all the feedback and all the likes and subscribes and everything you guys have been giving us. We're gonna do an immediate giveaway following this one. So as soon as this Narset gets claimed, we're gonna give another card away. So you guys let us know how you like the contest, how you like our channel, how you like the podcast. Just let us know what you think. We use some of the most advanced technology to determine who won, and I'll be completely transparent with you guys. Uh, we have something like something like 13 or 14 videos posted. We have more videos coming up. Some things I've been out of town, so I've had a little bit of a breather on posting things. It's been pretty frequent actually. Every couple days I post another video. But on the Narset Transcendent giveaway, I told all kinds of people to like, subscribe, comment. That's all you have to do. And we had like 150 something views on the video. Only 34 people liked the video, and only 27 people commented. So I don't know if just some people didn't want to, partake in a free card. So um, a lot of people were thinking it was a 1 in 100 chance. It's actually 1 in 27 chance. And of those 27 people, not everyone was subscribed to us either. So some people just watched the video, commented, liked, and then left. So it's unfortunate because it actually, well, it's fortunate for the people who won, or for the person who won,
Yeah.
is Bad Wolf. She followed all the steps. So I mean, I used this randomizer. I say it's the most complex randomizer. It's www.sandracyrus.com. It's a really cheesy looking YouTube comment randomizer, and I just backed up whether or not you followed and subscribed to us, and you know that's how I determine whether or not you guys won. So if you want to be part of another giveaway, make sure you like and subscribe, you guys. You have to follow all the steps. If you don't follow the steps, you won't be part of, the valid entries. So, we had a big problem with that on this giveaway where there weren't a lot of valid entries. Tons of people subscribed, tons of people liked, but you got to follow the rules. So, um, yeah. Let's see. What am I saying here? Because I'm just rambling.
Maybe we should give away an old card.
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go through my box, see if we can't find something neat that people don't really know about. Give away
Okay.
something old school.
Nice. We could do an old card and a new card
There we
together
go.
as like a team up. Old meets new.
There we go. Maybe even some synergy between the two. Who knows?
Nice. For all those
Throw
EDH players.
Give away a combo. Who
Nice.
knows?
Oh, snap. All right. So, Evan, what do you got going on that's non-Magic news? Anything you'd like to share?
I can't stop thinking about NFL right now because
Really?
the draft is coming up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like in that mindset. I'm like looking at schedules and trying to figure out when my fantasy draft is going to be and
Yeah,
like
when are you guys doing your fantasy draft?
well, I mean we don't draft usually until like the third week of preseason, so it's late August, probably right around the time that
Oh, okay, yeah.
From the Ball Angels comes out.
Yeah.
But we're actually determining our draft order next weekend with using the Kentucky Derby.
Nice.
We change how we pick our draft order every year. Whoever wins the previous year gets to pick how we choose our draft order.
Oh, okay.
This year, since there's 20 horses that compete in the Kentucky Derby, so we're taking the bottom 12 and randomly assigning them to the 12 league owners.
Okay.
And wherever your horse finishes, as in between those 12, that's where you're drafting. So
Nice.
I mean, some people are excited about it. Some people every year there's a couple people that people want us to do like, oh, we should do a League of Legends tournament, and I'm like, well, not everybody plays League of Legends.
Yeah, right.
So, but we've been doing some pretty fun stuff. I think a couple years ago, everybody guessed how fast they thought Trenton, which is my son,
Yeah.
everybody guessed how fast he would run a 40-yard dash.
Nice.
And then I had him run 3 heats, and I averaged it out, and we drafted based on how close you got.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
I drafted 10th out of 12. I thought it was going to be a much faster time.
Oh,
I don't know.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
He's like, man, Dad, why are you making me run? Like,
Yeah. It was pretty funny though. As we were walking away, I was like, "This it?" I mean, that was pretty good. And he was like, "Yeah, I would have run faster, but you didn't tell me to run like the Flash." And I was like, "What?" I didn't
oh
realize
my
that was
God.
something that I needed to do for you. I'll keep that in mind for next time.
You got to know that clarification, man. The
Apparently,
Flash is a speed, and if you want me to run that fast, you have to let me know.
you got to tell me you want me to run like the Flash. Otherwise, you're gonna get me running like Batman. He's not that fast.
Oh man. He's not that fast, but he's Batman.
Yeah, he's got cars that go fast. He doesn't need to run.
Oh my God, he's got all the vehicles. He doesn't need to run
He
fast.
has all the vehicles.
That's classic. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, my only news is that I just came back from Celebration. I'm not sure how many people were aware of Celebration going on in Anaheim. It's a Star Wars Celebration where you it's just an excuse for everyone that likes Star Wars to get together and kind of nerd out for a few days and dress up like characters and things like that. I didn't dress up. I would if I had a costume, but I don't have a costume or anything like that. I just wore my Boba Fett sweater and I just, went and took pictures and hung out with my fiance and some buddies of mine. But it was cool. Like we actually ended up doing a lot of stuff in LA. I mean, we're total foodies, you know us. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I actually wanted to start bringing up. I wanted to start a secondary section on our YouTube. We're all Magic players. Everyone wants Magic the Gathering content and things like that. But as Magic players, personally, I would like to see what do Magic players eat the day before a tournament. What's a good meal to make? It's something that's like nutritionally good for you that you're gonna feel good about yourself and you're gonna go partake in this tournament and do that mental task of playing in a tournament or something like that, or even just like what's a good dinner to throw together while you're hosting an F&M night or something at your house, you know?
Or
So
on the flip side, what's the most disgusting thing you can put together that's just packed with sugar to give everybody that sugar rush needed to get through 5 more minutes of draft before we can play?
oh my God, I'm over here doing all this healthy stuff. Yeah, exactly.
You're talking about all this healthy, nutritious stuff, and all I can think of is I remember that my brother, before they used to play Dungeons and Dragons, would make home run pie casserole
oh my God. Yeah, that
made
does
with
actually sound pretty
donuts
good.
and home run pies smashed together and baked.
Oh, or like when we would we'd have like deep frying parties and they would take Starburst and deep fry
Oh,
Starbursts.
that was the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten. Was that deep fried lemon starburst on a nacho cheese Dorito? But I had to do it.
oh
It
my
had to be
God.
done.
Yep, yep.
How else are you gonna eat molten starburst? You have to put it on a chip.
Molten, yes,
It
molten.
was molten, dude. It was hot. It
Yeah,
burned me.
yeah. Oh man. So we actually went to a donut place. You know, if you live in Modesto, you're big on donuts because we have a lot of good places that are family-owned, handmade donuts here in town, and one of those being Mr. T's and one of those being We Donuts. So, uh, you know, we went to a donut place in Los Angeles called Donut Friend, and I had no idea this place existed. Janine had actually found it through, her means of looking around on the internet and things like that. And Donut Friend apparently is this, it's vegan friendly and all this different stuff. Because a lot of stuff down there, it's vegan friendly. I'm a huge carnivore, so I mean, no
They all
reservations
have to be
about that
vegan
vegan
friendly down
stuff.
there.
Yeah, but they have a lot of vegan friendly stuff. And one of the things, you go to this shop and oh my God, I mean, you're talking about like gourmet donuts for only like $2 or $3 a piece, and they're just like gourmet handmade donuts with like fresh fruit on top and like citrus infused like rum flavored syrups on top and things like that, and just insane like really good stuff. A brownie donut that you cut in half and you put marshmallows in between, peanut butter and chocolate on top, and it's like drizzled with all this other stuff, and you're like all of their donuts were amazing. But we ended up going to a bunch of different places like that. We had pho. We went and had like breakfast across from the Scientology building.
Well,
Not that I went to the Scientology building. I took a picture of it. It was
obviously.
kind of creepy. There's a bunch of people out front that were like having smoke breaks, and as we stopped to take pictures of them, they like looked at us and started like walking towards us, and we were like, oh, yep, we're leaving.
Yeah.
It was intense, dude. But
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know if you're aware of this, but you probably have private investigators following you now.
Oh yeah. I guarantee it. I
He
guarantee
took
it.
pictures of us. We
Yep.
got to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, I was afraid to hashtag Scientology on my Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to draw that negative attention,
Yeah,
so
no.
but yeah, it was pretty cool. This week's been pretty interesting. We definitely want to get back on track with posting more videos and posting more things. We recently posted a budget-friendly standard deck. I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at it, Evan, but that was really out of the box for me, because I don't generally
Plain
make,
budget.
yeah, I don't really make budget. I mean, you're talking about like the spikiest of spikes. Like,
That's
I
like
don't,
that's my stuff right there. It's the budget stuff.
yeah, I built a budget mono white deck, and we had a request from a listener or a viewer to build an assault formation deck. So I'm actually working on that, which is really hard because assault formation you want to play other cards that are not budget with that card. Um, so I'm having some difficulty building it budget, but my all-star card, and I feel like I broke that card. Okay, so Assault Formation, one colorless and a green enchantment. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Uh, and for a green, target creature with defender can attack this turn as though it didn't have a defender. And then it has butt breathing. I call it butt breathing
What breathing?
because you pay 2 and a green, and creatures you control get +0/+1. But since they're doing damage based on their
Yeah.
toughness, it's basically +1/+1. The card that I feel like I broke this card with is it's from Theros, Yoke Docs, single white. It's a 0/4. It's not a defender. It's 2 cents. Oh, you can get it for 2 cents. Okay, so
Holy cow.
Salt Formation. makes Yoked Ox a 1-mana 4/4 that can attack.
Holy cow.
So you play Yoked Ox on turn 1, and you play Assault Formation, and on turn 2 you're attacking for 4.
That's ridiculous.
That's really budget and
That's
really hilarious.
seriously budget.
Now, the other one that I thought was really fun too was Nyx Fleece Ram. Take a look at Nyx Fleece
Yeah.
Ram. Alright,
That's
so
awesome.
Nyx Fleece Ram obviously is a 2-drop. So this would be, these are all white cards, but you just play green white. It's no big deal.
Yeah, green white's a good combo.
So yeah, you play green white, and not only is Nyx Fleece Ram a 2-mana 5/5, but it also at the beginning of your upkeep gains you life.
Dude. Dirty.
So, yeah, these are really dirty cards. Like, this is just retarded. I mean, they have to be playing Death Touch or kill spells, otherwise they're just going to lose from the sheer power level at like 2 mana. Like, no, they have to have an answer for Assault Formation. They just have to.
Yeah,
So
otherwise you're putting them in a position where they're you're forcing them to have to like, use a path on a Yoked Ox.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's not a whole lot of options at that point. I mean, it's 4, so you can't bolt it. There's no way to kill that thing without straight up kill spells.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in standard, you're talking about, because this would be meant for a standard deck. So Assault Formation with like Yoked Ox and Nyx Fleece Ram. I mean, obviously you're going to run Jermoka, and a lot of people were talking about, oh, well, I can run, Sylvan Caryatid or something like that. Like, who wants to run a 0/3 defender that taps for a mana? Yes, it'll have hexproof, but like, it's only going to be a 3/3 for 2/2, or a 3/3 for 2, but you're also going to have to pay to make it be able to attack. So it's not worth it. You don't want to run defenders. You just want to run creatures that are like huge butts. And
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
want cheap
Jermoka.
creatures because they're cheap because they don't have power.
Right, right. So like Dragon Lord Jermoka, for instance, is in the first in the perfect colors, and it's also in the perfect power and toughness because it's a 5/7 that has flying and lifelink. And there's just all upside for the Dragon Lord Jermoka to be played in this deck. So she ends up hitting for 7. It's just, yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm liking where this deck is going. The only thing is Dragon Lord Jermoka is pretty expensive. And I feel like you have to at least play 2 Dragon Lord Jamokas in this deck. It's like $7. That kind of pushes it a little far out of affordable, I think. So maybe that might be the top end for the deck.
I don't know that I would say you have to. I don't know that I would say you have to have Dragon Lord Jamoka in there to make it work.
To be fair, you don't. But I mean, do you
I think
really
even
want
just
to?
running Jamoka the Eternal, just
Sure,
getting that bolster, just keeping things going. Like,
that's true. Yeah, I like where it's going so far with the assault formation. Just the 2 other little dudes. Like, oh my god, I just thought that was so much fun. I was like, dude, Yoked Ox is actually yoked.
yeah, he's straight up yoked at that point.
That's awesome. So, but that's pretty much it. That's all we got for this week. Evan, did you have anything else you want to talk about?
I got nothing.
All right, man. So hopefully this week we'll actually get a chance to get together and play some Magic because I want to play some Tiny Leader. I've been getting some stuff in the mail. So
Dude, I don't. I think I've only played one of my Tiny Leader decks, and I've got like 4 now.
all right, yeah, we need to play some Tiny Leader. We need to buckle down, and you need to test your red deck, your EDH deck. So
I
we'll
do.
definitely
Oh,
have
I
to
need to
get that
finish
going.
it. I'm gonna need your help with that one. I can't. I've got the basic cards together, but I can't do the cuts because I don't know red.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. That's easy. I'll do it. I'm up to the task. So,
I think that deck's gonna be fun though.
all right. So, for MTG Mind Games, this is Skott, and you can find me on Twitter, obviously Skott Jacobson, or you can follow the Twitter for MTG Mind Games at MTG Mind Games, and also like us on Facebook, follow the community there. You can like and subscribe to the YouTube, and Evan, where can people find you?
Well, if you like seeing pictures of beverages, you can follow my Instagram. It's Lanagiropus. It's the word original backwards followed by PUS. I'll explain it to you guys at some point eventually. Uh, I'm on Twitter. It's at CMDR Evander. It's Commander Evander.
All right, right on, man. All right, so you guys, thanks for listening, and as always, keep it real, keep it magic.